After East versus West, I made a lot of polls on my YouTube channel of potential matchups and asking you guys who would win these matches. There were a lot of funny comments, a lot of interesting results, so I want to go over some of them. First off, Devin versus Denis Saplenkov. 76% think Devin is going to win. That's pretty high. I've seen videos of Denis training recently. He's looking pretty strong, but yeah, I think that makes sense. And also 76%, same exact percentage that Devin would win against Vitaly Lookin, which is interesting. A lot of people in the comments on this section said that Vitaly is the guy who may give a harder challenge for Devin than anyone else except for Levon potentially, just because of his length, the length of his arm, and his ability to potentially negate Devin from using his style. So let's keep going on though. We got Vitaly Lookin versus Gasparini. Slight edge for Vitaly there after the last East versus West. Vitaly winning, Hermes losing. It's crazy how quickly people's stock will change. Because I guarantee you, if I would have put out the same poll before that event, Hermes would be so much higher than Vitaly in the poll. But as you see, that event happens, and then the tides kind of shift on the public perception of an athlete. Is just kind of how it seems to go. So Vitaly with the slight edge over Hermes based on what you guys voted, and then Prudnik versus Matyashenko. 84% said Prudnik. A lot of people said that he's more versatile. He's able to top roll. Matyashenko just able to hook. I think that's a reasonable prediction for sure. But, man, Matyashenko looked very impressive in his match there. Georgi Zaranov versus Dave Chafee. The slight edge for Georgi Zaranov. I think that slight edge should be even more. Georgi Zaranov has beat Arif Ertem. He just had a huge win against Osmanli. He's beaten Kalashnikov. This guy has some serious wins on his record. Obviously, Dave Chafee with a lot of losses recently, so doesn't put him as much in a good position. I'm actually surprised how much people voted for Dave Chafee against Georgi. Maybe they didn't watch Georgi's match in the last event. That's crazy to me. But Dave Chafee versus Matt Mask, huge advantage to Dave Chafee there, with 75% saying Dave Chafee would beat Matt Mask. The battle of these two arm wrestlers with a lot of recent losses. And then we start getting into the Bacho Sagnashvili thing. I said, I was just thinking, Paul Lin could be a potential really good matchup. Still, Bacho as a favorite, even after Paul's recent performances. That is crazy. That just says a lot about Bacho more than anything, because we know how good Paul Lin is. And then we got Dave Chafee and Derek Smith. Derek Smith, even after a win, why is he's only at 24% against Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee, the heavy favorite, even though he's had a lot of recent losses, but people don't have faith in Derek Smith yet, apparently. So I'm wondering who's a good opponent for Derek Smith next. So I'm really curious. People were aware on this one to say that Georgi Zaranov, 79% favorite against Derek Smith with 21%. Once again, the odds not looking good in the polls there for Derek Smith. Obviously, this has no effect on the table. It's just people's perception of the athletes based on recent performances, or just what they believe in general about the athletes. So it's interesting. That's interesting. And then another big matchup, Larry Wheels versus Leonidas. So many potential matchups, and here's an official matchup here for next month. And we got 74% heavy favorite to Larry Wheels. I know Leonidas is very strong. I actually think this is significantly closer than what people seem to believe on this one. Then we got some pictures there. Get back into the polls here. Todzilla versus David Dadikian. Todzilla, 60% favorite according to people. Interesting. And then a really heavy favorite for Angarbayev against Dadikian. That's even more staggering advantage than Todzilla. So interesting stuff there. And then I made 3 more polls here, all related to Bacho Sagnashvili, just because that guy is on a tear. He just won the youth category at the World Championships, and I think he's going to do the open category like the week after. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But Bacho, heavy favorite against RVJ in this poll. Todd Hutchings, 70% to Bacho. So Todd Hutchings, people really believe in Todd Hutchings. I mean, especially after a lot of recent wins. Yeah, that makes sense. 70% to 30%. But they really do not have faith in RVJ against Bacho. They think he'll get fucking destroyed, 18 or 17% to 83%. And then the last one here, this is the battle of these young, both super young, I think 18 or 19 for both of them. And Bacho Saganashvili, again, heavy favorite against Reno. So interesting stuff there. Do you agree with a lot of these polls, these decisions? Some of the comments on these polls were hilarious too. People just roasting and stuff like that. The comment section is funny sometimes, but that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm pumping out the content right now, so stay tuned.